Hey guys, what's going on? DJ 12 back again with another installment of 12's Kitchen. So I got some really tasty treats on deck for you guys today. So I want you to sit back, relax, stay tuned, and come on back. We're going to show you what we got going for you today. DJ 12, this is 12's Kitchen. Hey guys, welcome back. DJ 12 here, and this is 12's Kitchen. So today, we're going to be brunching like bosses, alright? So, theme of the day is brunching like a boss. And basically, I love brunch. I love the omelet station, the waffle station, definitely. All kind of different savory and sweet treats. And honestly, you can have brunch any day of the week. Weekends usually work best. Saturdays and Sundays are always great because, you know, you're lazing around the house, you don't have much to do, but you still want to eat some really good food, even though you're not doing much throughout the day. So I got a couple of brunch items that I really enjoy making and eating on a somewhat regular basis. I don't brunch often, but when I do, again, I brunch like a boss. And you guys are going to brunch like bosses today too. So what we have on deck today is a simple frittata. Really nice, quick and easy dish to make for a brunch or lunch, snack, even a dinner item. Frittata is very versatile and one of my favorite go-to dishes in a pinch, like if I need something quick and easy. We're also going to make, now 12 himself is a low-carb dude. Been low carb for a little while. So this is my low carb. I have a low carb pancake recipe that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy. Look, like I said, I love the waffle station. I love putting all kind of toppings on it, and I just love the syrup. Oh man. So, but you know, now that I'm like meal prepping, trying to eat a little healthier, I've come across some alternatives that I like and some stuff that I really found that was really nice to experiment with. So one of the key components of the pancakes is almond flour, but we'll get into that when we start making it. All right, so frittata, low-carb pancakes on deck. I want to turn it around and give you a good glimpse of my mise en place, how we got everything laid out just to make our time in the kitchen spent a lot easier. All right, take a look. All right, again, we want to make sure we are as organized as possible, so that when we get started, we don't have to spend a whole heck of a lot of time in the kitchen. Alright, so we are going to get started right now. Once again, this is 12's Kitchen. I am DJ 12, and let's get it going. Alright, so we're going to get started on our frittata now that you've had a glimpse into a madman's mind. Some people say I kind of have OCD, like the way I like to have everything laid out. But again, and I've stressed this on previous episodes, the more organized you are to start with, the less you're reaching for stuff later, running to the pantry, digging in drawers for utensils and stuff. So, you know, keep in mind, the more you plan ahead, that's the whole point of this show is, right? Meal prep. So you got to prep. You got to be prepared so that when it comes time to cook, when it's showtime, when the lights go up and the flame comes up on the stove, that you are already ready to go. You got everything laid out, ready to go, ready to get started. So we're going to start with the frittata, In this bowl here, I have 6 eggs and a tablespoon of heavy cream. We're going to add a little bit of salt and a couple of grinds of crushed black pepper. All right, and we're just going to give this a nice whisk until everything is incorporated. The eggs will become a nice pale yellow. All right. That looks pretty good from my end. You just want everything to be well incorporated. See there? All right, so, and this frittata that we're gonna do today is really basic, really simple. I'm just making it with some some bacon and some cheese. But a frittata is a great dish for like that everything but the kitchen sink type stuff you want to throw into the frittata. So you can throw your veggies in there, your aromatics, just about any type of protein you want to add to it. So it's a very versatile dish, and like I said, we're making it kind of basic today, but again, you could put just about anything in a frittata, and it cooks up nice and quickly, nice and fluffy. That's why we add the cream, and it's going to be great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this over to the stove and get this started on the stove top before we finish it off in the oven. We will be right back. All right, so what we have here is our pan heating over our cast iron skillet heating over medium to medium low heat. So we want to cook this pretty gently. We don't want to cook it too hard because we just want the egg time to cook, and eventually it'll rise from having the cream mixed into the sauce. So we just want it to cook gently on the stove top first before we finish it in the oven, and we're not going to let it fully set before we put it in the oven, but we're going to let it set a little bit before we put the cheese and the bacon into our frittata. So it's warm enough. We're going to go ahead and drop in a tablespoon of butter. Get that swirling around there. And I also like to make sure I get up the size of the pan when I am lubricating my pan for the frittata. Because, like I said, when you put it in, it's not going to seem like the egg is high enough to reach the top of the pan. But in a lot of cases, I find when I make these frittatas, they always rise in the oven. And we're just going to put it in the oven for about 10 minutes or so to finish cooking all the way through. And right now, I do have the oven already preheated to 350 degrees. All right, so we are ready to go. Yeah, once the butter is like nice and starting to foam up a little bit, it should be warm enough to go ahead and throw your eggs into the cast iron. All right, and I'm using a medium-sized cast iron here. 6 eggs is roughly 4 servings, so you can get 4 servings out of this. So if you're entertaining, this is definitely another good dish that you could serve up to your crew when you guys are just doing brunch or book club or whatever. All right, so we're gonna get our eggs in here. And we've talked about sizzle before. We don't want to hear too much sizzle here because we want the eggs to cook very gently. All right. Ooh, little drip. All right. So we're going to let those go for a couple of minutes until they start to set slightly. And then at that point, we will go ahead and throw in our fixings. All right. So we will be right back. So, hopefully you can tell a little bit that our egg has begun to set a little bit at the bottom. So that means we can go ahead and add our fillings. So, just to make sure, you can see around the edge of the pan here, that egg is a little bit more solid, a little bit more firm. So, at this point, you can go ahead and add all of your fixings. So, I like to go ahead and add the bacon first. Bacon. So get that in there. And this is some bacon that I crisped up in the oven Yeah, you know, word of advice, don't cook your bacon on the stove. It's a mess. It's so greasy and it's everywhere and it's just like dripping in fat. Now that's good if you're on a certain type of diet that I won't name, but yeah, so much grease and fat is hard to get it like completely, you know, dry. So I prefer to crisp up my bacon on top of a sheet tray and a wire rack. Usually about 400 degrees, about 25 to 30 minutes will get your bacon nice and crisp. All right, so we're going to add our just a cheddar jack cheese combo. And you can add as much or as little as you like. I'm adding about a half a cup here. All right. Get that cheese in there. And then we're going to get this inside the oven 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes or so, and you're going to see that it's going to rise. It'll be done when you can stick a fork or a knife or a toothpick down the center and it comes out clean. You know the old cooking, the old bacon test there. So we're going to get this into the oven right here, 350, 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes or so. It should be fully cooked, and you'll see it'll get a nice fluff. It's going to rise. So in the oven, we'll be right back, and we're going to get started on our pancake batter. All right? See you soon. All right, we're back. So our frittata is in the oven, get nice and fluffy and ooey gooey cheesy. All right, so now we're going to get started on our low-carb pancake batter that we're using almond flour with as the substitute for regular flour. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, this is going to come together really, really quickly. So I've already got a tablespoon of water inside the blender. We're going to crack 2 eggs in. Oh, there's another. All right, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. We got about 2 ounces of cream cheese, softened. And yeah, I bought the cream cheese in a brick. It's like an 8-ounce brick, so you cut it into 4 equal pieces. That's 2 ounces. Tablespoon of 2 tablespoons, I'm sorry, of melted butter. All right, then we're gonna go with the dry. I've got 2/3 of a cup of almond flour that I've actually sifted. And you want to put the wet in the bottom of the blender first so you don't have like a sticky mess inside the blender. Pinch of salt. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar substitute. You can use whatever sweetener you like, whether it's brown sugar, turbinado, cane sugar. Half a teaspoon, I'm sorry, of ground cinnamon. Oh, did not go in there. All right. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. All right. And that is all of your ingredients required. Get that extra little bit of butter in there. All the ingredients required for your pancake batter. So all we're going to do is we're going to blend this until everything is incorporated, and we're going to let it sit for about 2 minutes so that the batter rises a little bit from the baking powder. All right, so let's get our cover on. And let's get blending. And you're going to want to scrape down the sides a little bit because of the flour is just going to come up and stick a little bit. So you're going to make sure you want to scrape down the sides. So I'll pulse it a little bit to get it going. Try to get everything incorporated. I actually will scrape down the sides now. Okay. Make sure all that dry and that wet gets mixed in together. A couple more pulses. low for about 15-20 seconds. And there we have our low-carb pancake batter. These are only, if you're into counting carbs, these are only like 4 net carbs per serving. And I believe the serving size is 2 pancakes. And this usually yields about 6. So you can always alter your recipe to double it, you know, make bigger batches if you need to. So we're going to let this sit for about 2 minutes. And then by that time, our frittata should be ready. So we'll check on that as well. We will be right back. We got more to come on 2wlv's Kitchen, DJ 12. Thank you guys for watching. See, I told you it was going to get a little bit puffy. See how that puffed up there? So we're going to check it with a fork. Nice and clean, so that's plenty done for us. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get this out of the pan so that it doesn't continue to cook. And get it onto our cutting board and let it cool slightly before we cut into it. Alright? Moving right over there. Oh. That is our frittata right there. So like I said, we're going to let it cool slightly, and then we're going to go ahead and cut and serve it up before we turn our attention to making our pancakes. But there you go. There's a bacon, egg, and cheese frittata right there for you. Brunchin' like a boss as always on 2wlv's Kitchen. We'll be right back. So a serving size on this is generally 1/4 of the whole frittata. Alright, so there is your final there. Bacon, egg, and cheese frittata with a little bit of sour cream. You can serve it with some avocado on the side. I forgot salsa at the grocery store this morning, so I apologize. I meant to serve this with some salsa. But there you go. That is our frittata, and again, we're going to turn our attention now to our pancakes, but this is so yummy. One other thing about the frittata, I generally will eat 2 slices because I like to load up on protein. If you're just making this for yourself, it'll last generally about 1 to 2 days after you cook it, and also depending on what you put into it. So if you're putting mushrooms, spinach, you definitely want to eat these within 1 to 2 days, or else you want to put them in the freezer. You can freeze them for up to 2 or 3 months and reheat them. I prefer to eat them fresh and like maybe reheat one the next day. So just depending on how many of these you're going to serve, if you're eating them, if you're cooking them for yourself or for others, will determine how long you want to store these for. But I wouldn't store these no longer than a day or 2 after I make them. So, all right. So now we're going to turn our attention to our pancakes and get going on that. Stay tuned. More 2wlv's Kitchen to come. All right, we're back. We've got our non-stick skillet here with a little bit of butter on the inside of the pan, just a little bit, not a lot. And we're going to, nice and warm, ready to go, we're going to drop about 2 to 3 tablespoons of batter right into the center of the pan. So personally, there we go. Personally, I'm a little bougie, and I like all of my pancakes to generally be around the same size. So I'll do them most of the time 1 at a time. You don't have to. The last time I made this recipe, I did 2 at a time in the skillet. But they come out all oblong, and I can't stand them like that. I like nice, big, fluffy, circular pancakes. So get the batter down, and we want to just let it go for a couple of minutes until you start seeing either the bubbles form around the edge, or you can generally tell when the pancake is ready to be turned. We'll give it a peek in just a little bit. But yeah, we want to keep our heat. We want to keep our heat about medium or so. Not too high, definitely, because you'll scorch the pancake and you get the black pancake. So, see, I got those bubbles starting to form right now. Don't know if you can see that very good, but we got some bubblage going on right there. So they'll be done shortly, or ready to flip shortly. So we're just gonna let these go for about a minute or so before we flip it, and then we'll go on to the next pancake. All right, we flipped it over, nice and brown, fluffy. Ooh, got a little bit of cushion there. So we're gonna go ahead and knock out the rest of these before we plate it up. And if you're doing these one at a time, like my bougie self, you can keep them warm in the oven at about 175 degrees. Just keep them warm so that you can serve them up nice and hot. Get your butter all gooey, spread all over them, and you're ready to go. So this one's just about ready to pop in the oven, and we're going to finish out the batch, and then we'll finish up the show. All right, DJ 12, 12's Kitchen, come on back. Now that right there is what I call a tall stack. Low carb pancakes. Very keto friendly if you're into that sort of thing. DJ 12, I'll be right back with more 12's Kitchen. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for another episode of 12's Kitchen. I will definitely be back. Hope you guys enjoyed the instruction. Hope you really enjoyed the frittata. Remember, you can throw anything you want in that thing. And as far as the pancakes are concerned, hey, if you don't like the low carb option, I'm sure you can find another pancake recipe that you really like. But give the low carb option a try, because I guarantee you might even fool some of the staunchest pancake lovers out there. So trust me on that one. Anywho, thank you so much again for hanging out with me today. Again, I will be back. Make sure you're following DJ 12 on Instagram and Twitter at DJ2wlv. Once again, I do have an Instagram page dedicated to 12's Kitchen coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. But for now, you can follow me on those platforms, and that's it. Thank you for brunching like a boss with me, and I hope to see you next time. DJ 12, I'm out.